Hey guys, Sam back with you here on Friday, September 21st. We're middle of the day and continuing on with our look at with three big coins here. We did Bitcoin previously, and we're going to look at Ethereum here, and then I've also got EOS to the dollar teed up by request from the members. So here's the way we've been through this a number of times. So from this swing here to the swing low, we've gone to the 50 now. You look here and you say, that's pretty close to target. Could that be a front run on the target? Yeah, sure, it could possibly. Now let's go look here and see if we can make sense of an Elliott count here that would support that idea. So let me just zoom here. We'll work from this B wave down. So I do have this pitchfork on here just because it's, you can't ignore that, right? So from these major pivots here, we come down, we tap the median line here, which for what I'm proposing is our third wave here. And then you can see as we come down here, now we're not to target, but that's close enough. You might be able to work your way into the idea that that was a front run. Now we've moved outside of the median lines here, but we're not so far away that I wouldn't want to at least evaluate and look here. Did we get through the 2? So we're just 100%, 200% from the median line. Not quite yet there. There's the 233. So we have the potential here, and I'm going to take that off since we've kind of got that established here. So working from coming down here. So if we've got this as, so I have this as 3-4 here. So I can get a good 1-2, get my complete impulsive wave structure here. It's technical. Everything lines up, and I've got my 3-4. And then if I look here, it's just, again, standard ops. We would take the length of the third. We come in here, 4 is between the 23 and the 38. Got a nice 3 wave, just what we're looking for. Down we go. Now we're to and through both first and second target. Interesting, right? So then we look, okay, well, if that's my 4, I've got to get 5 coming down here. So I can certainly get 1, 2, 3. Here's my little ABC. Now here's where it gets a little problematic for bulls that are hoping that we've now put in a substantial and a significant low here. Now it's possible. But just looking at the count coming down here, well, if we start with this pivot here and see how do we look at golden zone, and we right into the Vegas wave. Amazing. Right into the Vegas wave. So potentially here I've got an A, B, C. I don't know how else I would count that here. It's a deep enough retracement to qualify for a 2, and then here's the rip down for the 3. So if I just, as I always would, we would just measure it, looking for any sort of guidance here from fib relationships. Well, if I pull it over here, get it on my 2, I'm kind of in between, right? So here's high probability zone. So, I suppose if you were arguing that this was 1, 2, and we're going into a 3, you'd have to make the case that you had 3, 4, and 5 were in. Right, that's you'd have to build that. Now look at the length and the complexity of the 2 relative to the 4. I think that's a little bit, again, hitting the opium pipe, or the hopium, I should say. So if we go with what's more probable here based on price pattern time, until we break out of this, or we break this pivot here. So let me get this off here. So this looks to me like we've got 1, 2, 3, and we've just done an A, B, and C is going in. So let's think about where we could get more bullish. So if we take the length of the 2 and project here, well, we're just coming up to the 50. Now, if we can get on the other side of that 65, at least then we might be able to get an algorithm behind us if we were looking on the buy side. Until then, boy, this is just very hard to do anything other than here's my 3-wave B, and looks like I've gone 1, 2, 3's going in. Maybe we're going up to the 618. Maybe. Right? That would be certainly fairly consistent, right? We went just a couple of ticks through the 65 here for a 2, but we know a 2-wave anywhere from the 50 to 786, so we don't go outside of norms there. That's statistically right where you'd anticipate it. There's the big reaction down. Now I don't know. So I suppose you'd have to make the case that this was ABC in here. I don't see it. I don't see how to make that case that for anything other than ABC into a B, right? And I probably don't even have to draw this. You can know what happened there. Right, so right between the 50 and the 618, right where we're anticipating our B wave. Now here's our first target, second target up here. If we were to go that high, let me go down. Let's go to a 30-minute. Okay, let's think about it. Is there a case to be made for the low to be in, which would have to be in over here? You've certainly got an A, B. You've certainly got a completed A wave candidate here. Right, then we've got a very nice A, B, C to get us into that. So, okay, so we'd have to be counting this. All right, so looking for this. So this we're going to be, we'd have to go on 1, A, B, C into a 2. Looks like 3 trying to go in. We don't know where that pivot is yet. 4 and 5, so just essentially placeholders. All right, let's think about 1, 2. Well, where are we in the distance from on the third from the second? Let's get right up here. Well, here's our high probability zone. Note where that's what we're running into. There's the 50 right there. So where we were to come down and do something along these lines, right? We don't know. Again, I'm just proposing a potential roadmap here. All right, so let's wick off the 1. Okay, so if this is our 3, or the 3 is still yet to be resolved here, this could certainly have another kick in here, which would be ideal. So note this confluence here. So we get the 50 coming back right at the 1618. So we've got a high probability box right here. Gets us a little hot box as a target for the third. So were we to come up here and finish at that third and then get something like this, come down, and then we go up for the 5. Well, I would propose to you that in doing that, all we're doing is putting in the C wave here. This is exactly like Bitcoin. You can't get overly bullish on this, as good as it is to see that kind of a move off of the low. Until we resolve this in a way that would make more sense, I just don't see anything other than a 3-wave correction, right? So we're looking for an A, a B, and then we're looking for 5 in the C. So for bulls, thinking, oh, low is in. Okay, so it's 1, 2. Well, if we're going to get, we could have a diagonal, right? So we could certainly have overlap of the 4, because we'd be looking for a 1 wave. If you're a bull, you'd be looking for this as 1, 2. We'd need more complexity here. We'd need a 3. We could overlap the 1. So this will be also an important level here if we're going to look at perhaps recounting this for the idea that the low is in and that we've gone 1, 2. Until we break one of these major 65. So look here. So if we're going to go A, B, C into the potential 4 here, well, that lines up pretty nicely here. This certainly could go higher. Nothing says we have to stop here, so that we could go up here. That would give us our A, our B, and our C. It's exactly like Bitcoin. Now, if we get on the other side of this, right, then at least we know we can get an algo on our side. Until then, well, you do have this one. You do have this one here, but we are approaching that target. So from here to here, all right, so we do have this one. So we know software kicks in at that 50. We'll defend to the 618. Their target right here. Right, so that could be our pivot. That would be 200%. Interesting. Right, so potentially now we'd have some confluence up here that would tee us up for the C wave to be completing of the 4 wave. Well, let's see if we kind of put that into context. Would that make sense? Well, we can look at it relative to what we experienced in this 2 wave here. I think it's really a push to try and get this as a 3, 4, 5, because we need to get the subdivision anyway in the third, right? So that looks like the 3, 4, and 5 of the third. Right, now, again, I would love to be proven wrong, and that all of this is just going to continue to crank higher. We take that low out, then trend change potentially confirmed. But until we break this 65 here, I don't see anything happening other than exactly what we'd be anticipating. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C into a 4. How are we not looking for one more down? Again, crypto Twitter, I love the enthusiasm, but I just don't see it, right? I don't, and I'm as big a bull as anyone. I just don't see a way to get that resolve down here and say the low is in. Right? Even though, here's our larger target down here at 150. What was our low here? 166. I guess it's possible. It's possible. It would surprise me, but market surprises me all the time. So that seems like it's more likely those are going to be magnets until we resolve, until we break on the other side of it. Now, if we get on the other side of that, let's just think about it, right? So this is significant to our Elliott count. This would be the next major pivot we'd have to be getting through. So we got a lot now. You have to get through this one, right, to really confirm that we had a 1, 2, 3, and then of course it can't even confirm that until you see do you get a 4 and a 5. Then maybe you've got a case to be built for, maybe you got an A wave here, right? But so we'd eliminate the possibility that this was some sort of a corrective action. Okay, as far as we've gone from the high though, that we'd have to pull way out, but that could be an A wave, B wave, C wave. If we think about where we've been, let's just put that into larger degree context so we don't get lost in terms of where we could be going, right? So we'd have to, so let's think about that. So if this were going to have already bottomed, the major one we've got to break is this, all right? So if I can get this absolutely down to my low. All right, so let's just think about it. If we get that bigger push here and we get an A wave, B wave, C wave, again, it's too soon to get overly bullish because that could easily play out. Easily, let me get this up here. So this Y wave here that we're trying to complete, all of this could go down. So this could just somehow, we'd have to be relabeling this. So problem is there's not a good 2 in here, but if we just go swing high to swing low and go where the algo is going to kick in, boy, that it's hard to argue with that, right? We just, until we get through that, we got to get through this. Then maybe we're talking different story. Then we'd have to see this followed by this. All right, now we got a good one wave. Now, right, and of course, just as I just showed this on Bitcoin, right? They don't feel like, oh shit, man, I missed it. I missed the low, right? Because that's coming. That if we're gonna have a major trend change, there'll be a 2, right? If this starts to go and that we get a 1 wave here, 2 wave, we come back to the 50 and the 618, we break, we get a good 3, 4, and 5, and you're thinking, oh man, I didn't get the low. Well, remember, what did we go to? 1400 here, right? There will be a retracement for the 2, so don't feel like you missed something. So don't force anything down here. You just don't need to. Let the thing show you that we have a substantial trend change. Crypto back on. All right, we get a 3 wave into a 2, then we start to go. Here's the big one. What's that? 282. Right? What are we now? We're at. 229, right? Is that going to make that big of a difference? Right now, I'm hypothetical here. I don't know what that looks like, but I just don't feel like, oh shit, I got to get in because I'm going to miss the turn. You do not need to catch the turn, right? Because the 2 is always coming. All right, let's pull all of that off. With that said, let's go back to this 30. So got to pay attention here as we come up to these levels. It's just, as far as I'm concerned, too soon to be just getting overly bullish here until we break some of these significant levels. So approach with caution here, right? Until you can confirm a trend change. Nothing happening other than exactly what you didn't be anticipating as an Elliott trader. Well, there's the 1, 2, there's the 3. I'm looking for a 3 wave into a 4. Shit, man, right on track. All right, guys, I've got one more to do, so I'm going to wrap this here. I don't see, now maybe Monday we come back, Monday, Tuesday next week, this looks differently. I'll be the first to get a bull hat on and be in there looking to be buying on retracements. But until then, just don't see it. All right, so that, just a reminder, always give us a follow on Twitter if you like this kind of analysis, if you're interested in applying it to your trading and mastering it. We've got a whole educational program set up with testing along the way. We don't just dump you in there and say, watch a few videos and get the hang of it. No, we're gonna make sure you comprehend it because we're gonna take you through in our belt system, right? So we borrowed from the martial arts, so we're gonna work you through white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt. You want to get to be a black belt? Well, that's a challenge, right? So these are not easy tests to get through because they shouldn't be. We want to make sure that you're comfortable, that you understand it, that you can replicate it, that you can look at variations, that you can put together a primary and 2 alternates, that you're comfortable, that you understand what the algos are doing, that you understand the combination of how to mix the algo plays with the Elliott Wave, with the market geometry. These are all things that we test you on. So we don't just dump you in there and say good luck. Right, so you can always learn more about that. A couple of ways. You can always visit our website. You can go to our public Discord. That's free to join. Got a couple of thousand people in there now. That's a good way to kind of get a sampling of it. And you get the idea if you watch these videos how we approach the market. All right, guys, I got one more to do today. We'll be back with a look at EOS to the dollar, and we'll see you shortly.